What's going on, guys? Dan back here with your guy Garage. You'll have to excuse me, the pollen is just beating me up lately. So I sound kind of congested right now, and I'm living off allergy meds. So I did end up getting the blow-off valve in for the car, got it all installed. Let me show you that really quick. Pretty straightforward. I just teed off the vacuum tree with some 1/4-inch hose and basically runs down through this disgustingness right here. And alright, so you can't really see, but there's the blow-off valve right there. That hose just runs straight to the top port of that, and that's really it. I mean, you bolt the thing down and that's it. There is an O-ring that goes at the flange of it, so it's all hooked up, it all works properly. Outside of that, everything is ready to go on this thing. Had it taken it, no leaks, you know, knock on wood. I did have to move some grounds and stuff around. Since I moved that battery to the trunk, when it gets hot, it's really hard to start the car, and I have to let it cool down. So I think I'm probably going to find a thicker gauge ground wire, or maybe even run another one from the block over to the chassis. But beside from that, I mean, the car's running good. So I've just been doing some tuning to get the car to run properly. So when I had first gotten the car running, it was able to run, luckily, because the Holley does its own adjustments, but it was making like 40% corrections on the fuel table. So I just kind of, you know, didn't video anything, just dove into it, really started making a lot of changes on the base fuel table. I've got it now to the point where I'm in like the 10% correction range. So drive a little bit, I do some corrections, test it out, do some corrections. The idle I've got pretty much locked in. It's like 0 to 1%. Drivability stuff I'm not really focusing too much on. You know, if it's like 5% correction, I really don't care because I'm not really driving the car on the road, as you guys know. And wide open throttle. Higher up in the RPM range, I'm locked in. That kind of mid-range is where I'm still getting, you know, like a 5, 7, 8, almost 10% correction, which I don't want. But I have the tune very, very, very conservative. Actually, let me show you what I have really quick. All right, so I won't really dive too heavy into the base table. I mean, a little ugly, but I'm still sorting stuff out. When I'm done, I'll basically smooth it over. And again, I'm not a professional by any means. Everything that I'm doing, I'm just kind of doing it. But here, so my air-fuel ratios, basically what I'm looking at, like I said, relatively conservative. I'm at about 11.0, way at the top. I shouldn't see 21 pounds, but you know, I'm in the 11.6, 11.4, 11.3. That's about where I should, you know, want to be. Relatively on the conservative side. I'm not trying to really kill anything, just trying to get it dialed in. And then as for timing, basically up here towards the top, I pulled out a degree per pound of boost. So just to show you guys over, I don't know if you can see it, but it goes by increments of like 1, 1.5 up to 21. But what I'm pretty much seeing is like, I should be right around here, this like 21, 20, 21, 19, depending on what, you know, how high the boost goes. And then obviously the higher you go, so this is really conservative. This was like, I think this is 0. So 26 and a few points at 0, basically at barometric pressure, and then everything above that I basically just start pulling 1. So each pound and a half, it's pulling like 1, 1.2, so on and so forth, all the way up. I should never be up here, but if it ever does, I mean, it's only like 9, 10 degrees of timing way up top. And so, funny story, when I first took the car out, I had the wastegate plumbed wrong, or the boost controller, I guess, which goes to the wastegate. I had it plumbed wrong, right? I watched a video, so I've been, you know, I read the On3 directions. It said to basically pull a source, a vacuum source to send down to the wastegate, and then route the boost control off a T, so on and so forth. So then I watched a different video. I think I just misinterpreted it, which, here, let me show you that really quick. So I watched a different video that basically had me run a line from my boost source to a T, right? And then from the T, it went to the, and then from the T, it went to that bottom fitting on the wastegate. And then the other side of the T went to this side of the boost controller. And then this side of the boost controller came out and went to the top of the wastegate. That didn't work, and when I tipped into the throttle, that boost shot to 15 pounds like that. I mean, it's actually kind of funny because I was going to get like the ball bearing turbo or whatever. This is just the journal bearing 76 millimeter. This thing built boost so quick. I basically just tipped in and then let right out because, I mean, the car was definitely making a ton of power at 15 pounds of boost. And I was not ready for that. I was not planning for that. I do not want to be there yet. I need to get the car tuned in. Luckily, whatever I plugged in for the air-fuel ratios, and then there was such conservative timing that it was no issue. I mean, it took 15 pounds like a champ. You know, the AFR shot all the way up to like 11. It actually had like no compensation, and the timing, I think I had it at like 14 or 15. So it was relatively conservative, but the car definitely moves. This is going to be, I'm really, really anxious. I think on 7 pounds, we should easily be, I would call it mid sixes, 6.6, 6.7. Luckily, we're going to get to find out tomorrow because the track's open. Anyway, what I've done now is I've taken the line off of the boost source, ran it to the backside of the boost controller, have it turned down all the way. This line for the boost controller goes to the side of the wastegate. The top of the wastegate, I just have it venting to the atmosphere. So I won't lie, I did a really quick pull just to make sure it worked. Plus I wanted to get the fuel dialed in a little more before I took everyone else for a ride. And yeah, I only saw like 6.9, 7.1, 7.2 as far as boost, 7.1, 7.2. So what I'm gonna do is keep the boost here, really dial in the fuel table, and then end timing and stuff, see, you know, where it'll be safe. I'm still running 93 with like some octanium, so we're probably in the high 90s on octane. But I really want to focus on dialing this in because honestly, the car shakes the tire really easy. I mean, plus, I mean, these are only 26 by 8.5s on the rear. I'm probably definitely going to throw these 28 by 10 5s back on, or maybe even get like a 28 by 10 because the 10 5s are rubbed a little. Like barely rubbed. That 28 by 10 would actually fit perfect on this. And then I need to get some 28-inch front runners, which I'm more than likely going to do, because then even going with a taller tire, I'll be able to run higher mile an hour with the same gear. With this gear, I actually have a feeling at 15 pounds of boost, I would easily top out, you know, mile per hour and everything on this car as far as gearing. What is this? Maybe 115 miles an hour. I think I would top that out in the 8th mile easy on this setup, especially at 15 pounds. But if I run a 28, depending on how high I turn the motor, which I don't want to turn it that high, because if the higher you turn it, this 8.2 stock block would just blow sky high. I'm not trying to split it in half. So with a 28, I could go to like 5,800, 56, 58, 6,000 and cross, 126-ish, 124 maybe. I don't think I would get there quarter mile, maybe. So anyway, I'm gonna definitely go to a 28 by 10 or 28 or these 28 10 5s, and they'll probably be on before I get to Ford Takeover. Anyway, I've been charging my GoPro really quick. I'm gonna throw it in the car. We'll take you guys for a quick ride along, and then afterwards, go over some changes that we got to make and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, really excited. Hopefully this thing stays together so I can get it out there, the Ford Takeover. We have some fun, get some races in, whatever. Still have some other stuff I need to take care of. I need to take care of that firewall in the rear to block off the fuel tank. And then I would like to get a cage in the car before it goes. At least even if it's like a 6-point or something like that. But I guess, we'll see what's out there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get something like that done in, the few weeks that we have left. But All right, guys, as you can see, the car is pretty rowdy, and the tire shakes really hard out here on the road. Plus, I mean, I'm not trying to go, you know, fast out here. I live out here. I'm not trying to really piss off the neighbors, even though my across the street neighbor used to race, and he gave me a huge thumbs up, big smile on his face when I came by. But you know, that was all that was second gear. You know, dip into, you know, full throttle for about what, a second maybe. And I mean, we went from what, three grand to 550, 600, like that. I would like to get this thing to go out to 6, but to be quite honest, if it pulls that hard out to 56, just for the sake of longevity in this engine, I might keep it around, you know, 56, 57, 5800. Car pulls really good. So looked into the tune. The tune looks great, or at least great for right now. I mean, I just finished it, what, yesterday? Wide open throttle, on that one, I made some adjustments. We were pulling, I think, 10% of fuel out, which I'd rather the computer pull fuel out, because that means we're a little rich, a little safer. You know, yeah, we're using more gas than we should, losing a little power, but I'd rather it be pulling the fuel out instead of trying to dump fuel in, because when you're lean, that's when the engine starts to get really hot inside those pistons, and that's when, you know, ringlands blow apart and you know, block splits and all that good stuff. So we were looking at about 10:6 on the air fuel ratio. I took about 3% out in the area where it was adding, or where it was taking out 8%. I only took about 3% out. That should get us, you know, it should actually, I'm sure I'll still need to take more, but that's what I'd rather do, a little bit at a time. I'm gonna try and get to the track tomorrow. It's open down here at Red Springs. I'm gonna Thunder Valley Raceway down here at Red Springs. They said they're doing a test and tune. I'm probably gonna go make 2 hits. What I'll probably do is 1 hit, and then maybe I'll throw a degree of timing in it, do another hit after it cools down. I try not to stay out too late, because I mean, I work every day and stuff too, and I gotta get up early. So, but I really want to start to get this car dialed in, get it ready to get out to Ford Takeover. I would like to be at the point to where once I get out to Ford Takeover, then I can start cranking up the boost. So as you can see, car's running good. Car fires right up. I think the injectors that I was using with that last engine combination, I think that's what was really giving me that hard start issue, and I just could never figure it out. Even the guy that I had taken it to, who's a good tuner, you know, he couldn't figure it out either. We just couldn't get the car to start right. Sometimes it would start, boom, right up. Other times it would sit there and just lug and lug and lug and stumble and then finally fire up. But, I mean, as you can see right there, these are those the Siemens Deca 60-pound injectors. I mean, couple cranks, boom, fires right off. Just about every single time. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for the neighbors riding their quad. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for the times tomorrow. I'm guessing, I'm gonna say 6.7s, maybe not off the trailer, maybe 6.90s, because I'm running really low timing. Just for reminder, I have an old time slip here. I think my previous best all motor was 750. This is 766. I believe 755. I think the best time with the car was like a 755, 759, somewhere in there at 91, 92 maybe. Honestly, I don't remember. I have to go back to the video and look. But I know it was in 750s. So 750s, this car as it sits now, I mean, is way faster. Not even close. So I'm really anxious to see what it does. But at the same time, really don't want to blow anything up right now. I do have a plan for where we're going to go if/when this engine blows sky high. And I think next year, not this year, I want to hopefully get through this entire year. I would love to pull this thing out at the end of the year, part ways with the 331, sell it off to somebody, and then do a full race car build, have a, you know, certified chassis put in it, cage, still stick. What I really want to do is stick with an 8.2 deck. So do like a 363 fully built that can handle like 1500-ish horsepower, you know, transmission to boot, plus rear end and all that stuff. And what I'm really looking at doing is that next year. So we'll see how this year turns out. I mean, if everything goes well next year, I should be able to do that. And then we can get out there and, you know, nothing against LSs. I love LSs, but I'd really like to keep an 8.2 deck in this car and then go out there and show them boys that you could, you know, you don't need to throw a LS in one of these things to make power. You could do it with a small block Ford easily. At the same time, full disclosure, this car's not going anywhere, but I'm also looking at adding a Chevy to the channel, big block Chevy, so be on the lookout for that too. Won't be anything like this. It'll be something that's, you know, a lot of fun, very different, and I've always wanted a big block, so we're looking at that probably later on, maybe this month. I mean, we'll see. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this one. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram at regularguygarage. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.